Y'all, it looks like Diddy is getting more desperate as the days go by, because the streets are saying that he has allegedly been sending threats to Cassie from prison to keep her mouth shut. Cassie's lawsuit is one of the major reasons that he's in this mess, and it looks like he is blaming her. There have been rumors in the past couple of days that Cassie is going to testify against Diddy in his upcoming federal trial, and girl, once Cassie takes a stand, it's game over for Diddy. Well, word on the streets is that Diddy is trying everything he can to stop this, including threatening to sue Cassie. What dirt does Diddy have over Cassie? And is she really being used as a pawn by the feds to take a black brother down? Let's talk about this. Okay, so it goes without saying that Diddy hates Cassie's guts, because not only was she the first to come forward, but her lawsuit was the catalyst for this to happen. There have been rumors for years about how Diddy was a bad guy who did bad things, but not even in our wildest imaginations did we think that the things he did were that bad. We thought he was just a wild partier who treated his artists badly, but child, Cassie's lawsuit ripped off his mask and showed us the person he was under the surface. Her lawsuit went into great detail about how Diddy not only put paws on her brutally during their 11-year relationship, but he also repeatedly SA'd her, forced her to use drugs, pimped her out, forced her to have intercourse with male escorts while he recorded her without her consent. Then he used the recorded videos to keep her in line, manipulating and threatening her to stay under his control. She claimed that he also used this vast network of allies to hurt her and find her whenever she tried to run away from him or end the relationship. The lawsuit said, the truth is that Cassie, Miss Cassandra Ventura, was held down by Mr. Combs and endured over a decade of his violent behavior and disturbed demands. For Miss Ventura, the dark times were those she spent trapped by Mr. Combs in a cycle of abuse, violence, and trafficking. Among other violent and unlawful acts, Mr. Combs SA'd Miss Ventura in her own home after she tried to leave him, often punched, kicked, and stomped on Miss Ventura, resulting in bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding. Blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically interested in Miss Ventura, demanded that Miss Ventura to carry his fire in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, and so much more. The lawsuit sent a shockwave through the industry, and Diddy got dragged for filth. At first, he and his lawyers tried to spin the story and claim that Cassie was a washed-up singer and a gold digger who was after Diddy's money. His lawyer screamed blackmail, saying, Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Miss Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Miss Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday. He probably thought that people were going to be on his side because he was rich and powerful and thought that he had a solid fan base, but the fans said psych and dragged him for filth. He eventually decided to settle after one day, but he still tried to maintain his innocence, claiming that he only settled for his own peace of mind. His lawyer released a statement saying, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Miss Ventura the best. He continued to deny that he ever hurt Cassie, but he was exposed as a liar when hotel footage showed him putting paws on her in a hotel corridor. Interestingly, this was one of the instances that Cassie mentioned in her lawsuit. Cassie said, in or around March 2016, during an FO at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, Mr. Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye. After he fell asleep, Miss Ventura tried to leave the hotel room, but as she exited, Mr. Combs awoke and began screaming at Miss Ventura. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling at her. He grabbed at her and then took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her, causing glass to crash around them as she ran to the elevator to escape. The video footage that was leaked showed that it happened exactly how Cassie laid it out. At this point, there was no more denying it, and Diddy eventually came forward to apologize for his actions, talking about how he was a different person back then and how ashamed he was about his past actions.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted.
Child, but this man was out here on Beyonce's internet swearing to heaven and back that he never hurt Cassie at any point in their 11-year relationship. Anywho, Cassie's lawsuit encouraged more victims to speak up, and about 8 different people came forward to file lawsuits against Diddy. And now the feds are involved. Y'all know that the feds don't play around once they decide to file charges against someone. They have a conviction rate of over 90%, so once they take someone to court, it's almost always game over. And judging by the accusations that have been made against him, he has a lot to worry about. And just to prove how solid the federal case against him is, the feds released the indictment document after a grand jury voted to indict him on a laundry list of charges. The document said, the defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. This was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence. The documents also claim that Diddy created a whole setup through Bad Boy Records and his other businesses to pull off his antic. He allegedly even had his employees help cover up his mistreatment of women and shady behavior. The document said the defendant used the Combs business, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his abuse and commercial. Those employees, including security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors and other close associates, acted as Combs' intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs' control of the Combs business. And to prove just how important Cassie was to the case, the feds also talked about the hotel footage of Diddy brutalizing Cassie. The document said physical violence by the defendant was recurrent and widely known. On numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These incidents were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his, and others. There have also been reports that the feds are going to call Cassie a material witness, and like I said, if she takes the stand, it's game over for Diddy. Well, the streets are now saying that Diddy could be trying to get his minions to contact Cassie and try to get her to back away from the case. See, the thing is, Diddy still seems to think that he is innocent because his lawyers are still insistent that he is innocent of all charges. It's also interesting that the feds asked the court to deny Diddy bail because they're scared that he will go after the victims. According to TMZ, the feds do not want Diddy to be allowed out on bail. U.S. Attorney Damon Williams says his office believes he is a flight risk and is also a danger to society, as he allegedly resorted to violence against multiple victims. This kind of lends weight to the speculation that Diddy might be going after Cassie, but I think that Diddy is going to be smarter than to try that, because that's going to be a one-way ticket straight to jail. Fans commented, Cassie got her money and Diddy's still going to jail. A win is a win. We are witnessing Diddy's downfall because of Cassie's courage and strength. In a world where so many industry insiders remain silent, she dared to expose this monster. Her standing up by herself is a catalyst for all of this. May she find peace and rest all her days. And Cassie better go into witness protection, because Diddy ain't the only person that's mad at her, so protect Cassie at all costs. But I want to know what your thoughts are on this, so drop your thoughts in the comments, then check out this next video.